Hi and welcome to the Business Strategy Blueprints. My name is Mark Smith and I am a peak performance coach for individuals and business owners. And what this tutorial is really all about is helping you understand how to make the most of your planning time in order to get the most out of your business over the next 3, 6, 12 months or longer. Now, if you've seen some of my previous videos, the key thing that I really want to share is helping people understand that we tend to go to what we know, and everyone will have a strength in a particular area. Now, when you're running a business, the planning is very much a creative space. It is working on the future of your business. And if you've got a business that's already established, then we tend to get caught up in the day-to-day. Now, the day-to-day is important. This is what pays your bills. This is what earns you money. This is what keeps your customers happy and coming back for more. But if you're not taking some time at least every year to look at where you're going to take your business, then we get stuck and we just spin the wheels, and all of a sudden the industry may outgrow you, or you don't grow to achieve the goals that you set out to really achieve when you started in business, or we just get a little bit stuck because we just put the planning or the creative stuff off until later. Now, one of the most important things to remember whenever we're doing any creative or planning space is we need to create an environment that allows your brain, your mindset to think about the what ifs, think about the possibilities, try things on. And the best way to do that is to get out of your office, to get away from your computer, and to create an environment where we start to expand that awareness a little bit more. We step out of the problems of day to day. So this is possibly the most important thing, is to set aside a time and go out somewhere, whether you go to a hotel or go for a retreat or find a different room in your house or go sit outside or a cafe, just somewhere else that gives you a different environment to where you would normally send emails, answer the phone, whatever that might be. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is we will always go to where our strengths lie. So if you are very much a details person, you will want to jump straight into the details without really having a clear idea of where you're heading. If you're a big picture creative person, you will love the vision, but you probably won't connect the dots far enough to really get into the execution, having an executable strategy to pass on to other people or to keep you accountable to what you need to do. So this blueprint really works to help connect the dots between the big picture and the details, and I refer to it being like baking a cake. You need the right ingredients in the right amounts, added in the right order for the right amount of time to get the outcome that you're looking for, and your strategy sessions are no different. So let's jump into it. Let's have a look at what these are. Oh, by the way, there is a PDF download on the website, so go ahead and download it. This is a very much an abbreviated version of the key factors to work through, and a few key questions help keep you on track, but also for you to work through as a guide when you're doing this for real in your business. So please have a piece of paper, some notes. If you want to pause this and go and download that PDF, please take a moment to do that now. All right, starting off, we need to get really clear on what your reason why is. Why are you in business? Why are you doing the business that you do? What is it that inspired you to get into it in the first place? So another way of looking at this is, what is your vision? And we can talk about this in many different ways, but probably the best descriptor of the vision is when you achieve your goals, when your business has had a positive effect on the world around you, what are you seeing in the world as proof that this has been a change? What are you seeing in the world as proof that you have had an influence and you've achieved what you set out to achieve? And this might be 20, 30, 40 years in the future. You might be looking to create a legacy that might go beyond your lifetime. So what is your vision? Why are you doing this, and what's the big picture? What's your big crazy view of the world? And this can be big picture. This is now moving outside of necessarily the scope of what your work is. Let's take some charities, for example. There are charities in the world that have a vision of having no people living in poverty, making sure that everyone in the world has access to running water and healthcare and vaccinations. Like, this is the vision, and the vision is seeing that there's no more existence of the negatives of these things. So that may not be what you're working for in your business, but what is your vision? What's the ultimate goal? And get really clear. Now, the reason that this is really important as a start point is, again, when we get stuck in the day-to-day, we tend to lose connection with this vision, especially if you're very much a details person. The other thing is, if you are working with a team of directors or a leadership team, then you all need to be focusing on the same outcome. And the higher level of abstraction we take this to, the more commonality we will get. And in a leadership team, there will be one or two people that are more bigger picture than others, so it's their job to really direct people to it. But when you don't start with a common point, then we end up in a debate. Because even if you're talking about the same thing and the same outcome, if people are perceiving it differently, then there's this tug of war trying to pull towards the different outcomes, which just delays and breaks down the communication. Whereas when we have a common point, now we have a negotiation. We have everyone working towards achieving that common goal. And this is why this is so important. And even if you can't define your vision, you need to get really clear on your big reason why. Now, if you've done some work on vision and your reason why in the past, just always come back to just reviewing it and making sure that it's front of mind. If you haven't, then you need to spend a little bit of time working through this. Once you've got your vision and your big reason why, it's time to revisit your company mission. So what is the mission? What is your company's part to play in achieving the vision? So this is now adding context to what part you can play. So going back to the humanitarian example, the not-for-profit or the charitable example I just gave of ensuring that everyone in the world has access to clean running water. Now, one company might not have the ability to just take care of that on a total scale. Like governments need to be involved, all sorts of different things. But that company might have a mission of facilitating the trades or the skills that will be providing water. Or maybe the company's mission is to train local people to be able to provide that and maintain that infrastructure. So this is now breaking it down. What part does your company play in achieving that ultimate goal, that ultimate vision we were just talking about? And if you have a company mission statement, please revisit it. I would encourage you, if you've outsourced this in the past, I've seen this from a lot of big businesses, or even even smaller businesses who have started out and they've spoken to a business coach or a marketing coach who's then sat down and gone, okay, well, tell me about what you want to do. And then the coach has formulated in their own words that mission statements. Now, this is good, but often what happens is the owners don't have a connection to that. So have a look at that mission statement, and if you don't feel the mission statement, then you need to work on it and just change some of the wording or just refine it so that the leadership team or the owners take ownership of that mission. It has to be your mission, otherwise we just defer it to other people. So get clear on your mission. Now, the reason we revisit this is as we get deeper into the detail, this becomes your check. This becomes your compass to say, are we on track for this conversation? Is what we're talking about actually going to take us to where we need to go to? Because as we get deeper into the strategy, it is easy to run off on tangents or think a lot shorter term. All right, now we've done those two, and only after you've done your vision and mission is it time to talk about your goal. So what is your goal for, depending what time frame you're looking at, the next 1 to 5 years? So pick a range relevant to your business and the size of your business. If you are a startup, then you'll have a vision for 5 years, but you really want to look at 3-month to 12-month goals. If you've been around for 5 to 10 years and you're well established, you've got a solid base, now maybe looking beyond the 1 years and extending out to 5 years is really what we need to start looking at. So pick a range relevant to your business and get clear. What do you want to achieve in the next 12 months? So I'm just going to use 12 months as an example. What do you want to achieve in the next 12 months? And how will you know you've achieved it? So what is the measure of success? Because this thing, if you can't measure it, it's not a goal. Now, we're not going to talk about SMART goals today, but just as a quick reminder, we need them to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and have a time frame on them. Now, without going super into detail of that, what I really want you to focus on is what is the evidence procedure? How will you measure? How will you absolutely know? Or even better, how will I know if you have achieved it? If I was to turn up to your business in 12 months' time and go, hey, tell me what you set as a goal, and would I, without asking how you feel about it, would I be able to tell if you have achieved it or not? And put those measures, because now this is what we are going to build our strategy around in the next steps. Now, with the goal, the whole leadership team, whoever is doing this planning and strategy session, you all need to have the common goal, because if you are not all on board, then we can't go any further. There's going to be unconscious sabotage patterns, and not in a malicious way, but unconscious sabotage patterns will start to pop up if there is someone in a room who is not on board with that goal or who wants something else. Regardless, you need to look at that. If you've got a leader who just wants to maintain what you've done the last couple of years, but you've got someone else who wants to really grow the business over the next 5 years, then we're not going to get the creative process that we need to create the strategy. We're going to have this constant internal battle of, should I say something? Should I not? How do we do this? And it becomes a manipulation. How can I manipulate this to achieve the goal that I want versus the other? And then we start working towards different things. So make sure you have a common goal and everyone agrees to, yes, we are on board with this. All right, now, once you've got that goal, now it's time to set that reality check. So we future-paced ourselves in that previous one as we were looking at the goals. We fast-forwarded to a year from now and we've defined, okay, what are we seeing? And step into it. What does it feel like to actually have that? Because we need everyone to have a kinesthetic experience of what it's like to achieve it. Now it's a reality check. So where are you right now? If you've been running your business for more than a year, this is where you need to have all of your accounts up to date. This is where you need to bring your profit and loss, your business metrics, your KPIs to the table, so we can say, okay, in the last year or in the last 3 years, this is the pattern. We grew by 5% last year, which was good, but our goal was 15%, and now we're setting a 20% growth over the next one. So we know where we are. We know what the pattern has been, so we can look at, okay, what's the gap? Where do we shift it? So know your measurements, and please come prepared with this. This is not the time to then go, oh, hang on, let me just have a look, and then pulling up your Xero files or looking for whatever numbers it is. Come with your summaries so that you can pull it straight out. You can discuss as a team, this was our turnover, this was our profit margin, this was what we paid our shareholders, and this was our, maybe another metric might be client acquisition, cost of acquisition, there might be marketing budgets, whatever it might be. Just have a quick summary of your numbers so you know where you are right now, so you can work out, okay, what needs to be addressed moving forwards. All right, once you've done your reality check, now you want to do a gap analysis. What are the glaring gaps between where you want to be and where you are right now? Now, don't get too carried away with this. Just start with the obvious differences. And there'll be some of you in the room that will focus on differences. This is what we call a meta program, is a deep unconscious, like a default setting. And there'll be others that'll see similarities. Just bring everyone to bring all those together, because when you give everyone a voice, then you start to shine a light on your own blind spots. Now, once we have it all on the table, then we can start to assess, okay, well, how do we connect the dots between now and the future? And as you start to bring out those metrics as well, you'll start to see, is your challenge in marketing? Is your challenge in sales? Or is your challenge in client retention? Or are all of those really good, so you just need to turn up the dial on them? Now, if it's not one or all of those three things, the fourth thing that it could also be is your systems. You need to look at your systems, because often your systems will have a capacity. They might get your business to grow to a certain point, but then your business will sometimes outgrow those systems. So, for example, if you're a startup, you're a sole trader, it's easy to keep your systems just pen, paper, and in your head. And that's perfectly okay, because then it doesn't cost you too much money, but while you're still executing everything to the standard you expect and your business is growing, that's okay. But then there'll come a certain point where you'll have too many clients to be able to manage in your head. So you'll need like a customer management system. And with that customer management system, there's plenty of generic off-the-shelf ones you can purchase that are slightly customizable that then you will start to use. And you might have a customer management system and a sales system and all these different things. And then all of a sudden you end up with a whole bunch of them and you've outgrown them and you need a custom solution for your business that just takes care of the thing you're looking at. So have a look at where the areas of growth or what you need to adapt. And as you look at the gaps and as you come up with strategies, which is the next one, start to plan. How are you actually going to achieve what it is you said you're going to achieve? And as it comes up, so someone might have a suggestion of, okay, we need to leverage our current client base for referrals. Like, great, now ask the question, will that get us to where we want to be? If the answer is no, that's okay, keep it. If it's going to get you part of the way, keep that as part of your strategy and then go, great, let's work on that and nut that one out. But what else can we do to grow? So what are the steps to fill that gap? And as you plan it, you're going to start to break it down and start to build those executable strategies. Now, still we have nothing that really makes a big change in your business, but we need to write out a series of steps. So this is breaking down over a year, then over quarters, then down to months, and you could even go to the weekly. I wouldn't suggest planning weekly for a whole year, but just for maybe a quarter, or even just a month, so that you have a recipe that you could give any one employee to go, here we go. Now, once you've got a strategy as well, give your leadership team projects. So person 1 will be responsible for this new thing. Person 2 will be responsible for this new thing. Person 3 will be responsible for this new thing. And you want to have measures. You want to have KPIs, so measures of progress and outcomes for that project. And you're going to set right now quarterly meetings. So you're going to have quarterly follow-ups to check in and go, hey, how's that project going? And the only answers people will bring is, yes, this is going great. This is where we're at. No, we're a bit behind. This is what I'm waiting for. And this is my plan to catch up. Or, hey, I'm having a bit of trouble with this. The plan's not working. We need to discuss this. So they're the 3 things that you'll bring to your follow-up meetings. But having those deadlines, having those measures is about creating accountability so that then people can go off without having to be micromanaged, run their plans as they need to, and then just check in with the leadership team. But instead of having, if you don't have those measures in place, then we don't have a target to aim for. And then what happens if you don't have your quarterly meetings? We get to the end of the year like, hey, how did that go? And we're like, oh, yeah, it went really good. We didn't quite get to where we wanted to be, but oh well, we tried our best. So by having those quarterly meetings, like instead of it being, hey, how are things going? And oh yeah, it seems to be going good, we can just say, this is where we are, this is where we need to be. Are we on track or not? And it becomes a really objective and a much faster conversation. So these are probably the key things where we start getting down to the details, and the details people will start to build that. So you need that recipe. So this is the blueprint. There'll be certain areas that you'll have done really well with, and there'll be certain areas that'll be like, oh, we don't do that so much. Notice where your strengths are and build towards it so you can really start to accelerate this. So I trust you have found this useful as an overview to help you with your strategy sessions. Please use our template as a guide to guide you through it. And if I can give you one more recommendation, it is to get your strategy sessions facilitated. Now, the benefit of this is you will have an objective person to ask questions who will naturally start to extract a bit more detail, a bit more information, because they're going to come to it without the background knowledge that you and your leadership team happen. And this way, you will start to get a little bit more detail in your strategy. That's easier to pass on and communicate. And plus, if you've got someone skilled in doing it, they will also start to play a bit of devil's advocate to really test your ideas, because this session is really about testing ideas so that you know what you really want to implement, rather than taking the hit and miss or let's see what happens approach. Even though there's going to be some feedback over the next 12 months, we want to give ourselves the best chance of having the best strategy to move forward so you can win the year. Now, please let me know if you have any questions. You can contact me at mark@ marksmith.peakperformance.com.au, or hit me up through the website. So all the best with your planning. I wish you the best for your next year, and please let us know how you go. We want to hear your success stories and also help you through your challenges along the way.